And go. This is what we doing while we do it, baby. We rollin'!
Covering MMA from all over the world, this is the premier stop for all your combat sports needs. MMA Junkie Radio, the only show broadcasting live from the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. The lights are on and the mics are hot. It's time to get your MMA fix, junkies. Take it away, Big John.
Gorgeous George and Goes, are you ready? Junkie Nation, are you ready? Well, let's get it on.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Race and Sportsbook, you're listening to the MMA Junkie Radio Show, the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goes, Ari's co-host. Back east, producing the show today, it's going to be Andre the Giant. What's up?
Heyo.
What up?
Very keto right now.
He's super keto. But I have a feeling, did you see that bagel video, that guy? That's what Andre
I haven't.
Like.
This is like the first time I heard it, and I was like, damn.
Oh, dude, it was so funny, man.
Boy, we're not even 10 seconds of the show, and he's already dropping his keto stuff, huh?
Yeah, dude, he's all keto.
Okay.
He's all keto.
Oh, yeah, all keto all the time.
All right. Settle down. Okay. So,
Love
shout
pissing
out
you
to MMA Tonight. That was a great interview that they had. Timely interview with Chad Mendes, who recently retired. That will be one of the topics we cover on this show. So, shout out to that team, the producer, Misha, and Ryan McKinnell. I caught some of it. Not all of it, because that's about the time where I was parking and coming in. But did you catch it, Goes?
I did. I was able to catch like the last part of it.
Okay,
but,
all I want
the
to know
guy
is,
seems happy.
All I want to know is one thing: did he leave that? Well, never say never, or 99.9%, or anything like that?
I mean, like never say never was like you have to give him a crazy scenario that I think nobody would turn down, right?
Gotcha.
That sort of thing. But he seems pretty happy. With
No Bellators or one championships or nothing.
No, nothing, none of that.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Because what I was thinking was, what's happening with PFL is pretty darn incredible, man. Chris Curtis is going to be a guest of ours today. Sadibou Sai is going to be a guest of ours today. But every time I just think about how quick these guys turn around, Sadibou Sai just lit up. David Michaud, I believe was his name. And it seems like it was yesterday. But it was only a few weeks ago, so I just love the turnaround of those guys getting in there, getting a quick payday. It all gets done in like half of a year, maybe a little bit more. But still, man, that's just something that I think the PFL is very unique, what they bring to the table there with their fighters. So we will be talking to those two fighters who fight tomorrow night, because today was weigh-in day, and then tomorrow they get down on ESPN2. We'll also talk to their play-by-play commentator, Sean O'Connell, a colleague of ours here on SiriusXM, the real OC, winner of Season 1. He's a stud. He's great at what he does, too, now with calling the fights. And, of course, he's definitely got radio and TV down. He's been doing it for many years in Utah. So, very, very happy for him. And then we'll talk to Jhenny Andrade, who will visit the studio. And it's going to be a lot of fun with the 3-time World MMA Awards Best Ring Card Girl of the Year. She's super happy. She represents the UFC proudly. And we'll chat with her, because I want to ask her about these trips she's taken to the Dominican Republic and the resort that she stayed at, which is the same one where many people have perished, man. I mean, like, I told her, I sent her a message saying, hey, look, I'm not trying to tell you where to vacation or anything, but if it's anywhere near this spot, please stop going, until they figure out what the heck is happening. I think 12 Americans is the latest I've heard. But, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about her recent win at the World MMA Awards, UFC 239, and everything she's got going on. So it's going to be a fun show. You can call in and be a part of it, 877-FIGHT-93, 877-344-4893. If you want to participate via Twitter, it's at MMA on SiriusXM. All right, so I was at Dana White Contender Series last night. In fact, let me write this down. DWCS. The reason is I got so used to saying Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. I was told that's what it's called, and those are the abbreviations you should use. So I try and be really good about being consistent with that.
Mhm.
But I notice I've been seeing a lot more DWCS, which to me is
Yeah.
more convenient. But I get it. It's all in the branding and the SEO, and if that's what separated it, just drilling in your head that on Tuesday nights, once a year, there's a 10-week run that the UFC does, and it's a blast. Hey, all right, cool. That's what I'll say. But I've been noticing more DWCS, so I'm going to find out from them maybe next week. Or, sorry, because you're going next week, but maybe I'll communicate with them and find out what the deal is with that. But regardless, I went last night. Had a blast as always, man. That's just, we're so lucky here in Sin City to have that.
Mhm.
And
Still hasn't even reached its potential, really. You're talking about the Apex Center and just being able to go in there and see fights and all that.
yeah.
Who knows what that's going to be like by the end of the year, the things that they're going to be doing there.
Well, and that and seeing, yeah, you're right. The Apex hasn't reached its potential. I think Dana White Contender Series is pretty awesome. Although yesterday, it'll be one of my takes. Yesterday, I did see fighters and fights where I felt like it was just below UFC level.
If
So-
you're going to put a blame on anyone for that, though,
Mhm.
you got to put it on Dana White, right? Because he says himself that the matchmakers, that he would do it even more. It's the matchmakers that are saying, dude, there just isn't that many people out there. Which brings me to another take, if you're done. Not completely with,
Oh, no,
with
no,
it,
no. I'll
but just
recap as we go along. But go ahead.
what's going to happen with the Ultimate Fighter? Because Dana's saying he's bringing it back. But wasn't one of the complaints from people towards the end that the level of talent just wasn't what it had used to be, right? Now when you add Dana White's Contender Series, aren't we milking that down even more? Like, isn't it watering it down even more? What is that going to even look like?
Good question. Okay.
And what separates what? If you're a manager, where would you rather have that person? On a show that features them once a night for what, 10 weeks? Or would you rather have them maybe a quicker route on Dana White's Contender Series, but there's a chance they don't get the shot and now they have to go away for a while? Like what? And if you're Dana White and you're the matchmakers, are you thinking like, what's a more valuable place to place somebody?
I think if you're a manager, it depends on who you got. I'll give you an example. You know that guy from M1, Nate Landwehr?
Yeah,
When he comes on, he's usually cracking us up.
it's awesome.
Yeah. If I was his manager, I'd go, man, I think you could benefit from Ultimate Fighter. As long as he's not going like, hey, I'm a bantamweight, but I'm going to fight at lightweight. Hey, I'm a featherweight, but I'm going to fight. You know, like sometimes those guys are sacrificing there. But I think the exposure of being there and taking that down and coming out with like some good buzz, that might be where I point them to.
Devil's
You know,
advocate?
Hold on a second. Actually, before he just started to go on this run, I might do that. I mean, he's getting paid very well in Russia. What I meant was Nate Landwehr of about 3 years ago. So before I even signed with Russia or anything like that, I'd say, let's try and get you on the Ultimate Fighter. Now that he's already signed there, if the object is like, hey, I've already conquered that, now I want to move over to the UFC, I got my experience and everything, then I want one shot in. Hell, I may not even do the one shot in because he's actually so talented that you might just tell them, hey, look, when you need someone to come in because someone's fallen off, I'm your guy. Now, sometimes it doesn't work that way, so if you run out of patience, Dana White Contender Series, but it all depends on where they are in their career. But if you're shining and you ooze charisma and you have some skills, then I think maybe still Dana White or Ultimate Fighter.
But see, here's the thing. Where it may benefit some people is I could see if maybe you didn't have that personality-wise, right? Now you gotta win 3 straight fights, but it doesn't matter how you do it, right? If you have like a boring style or something like that, maybe Ultimate Fighter's your way because all you got to do is win, and you're good. Dana White's, you can win, but if you don't look good, you don't get a contract. So with a guy like Nate, I would almost say like I get where you're coming from. I think if he does win his fights, it'll be good. But Dana White's, I think, can just get him right there. Like, he'll probably win his fight. He's just got to be charismatic, right, along the way and do it in an exciting fashion.
Which kind of brings me to yesterday goes, the bar was lowered yesterday. All 5 fighters got contracts. Now, the feeling was, at least around the people I was sitting, that the winner of the first fight and the winner of the last fight were probably in. Because I think we all sit down with the expectant expectancy of 2 people are getting in. It's no longer just like, oh my God, it's only one person. It's. I think everyone's feeling like 2 might get in. So it's going to be 1 from the submission world, and 1 from the maybe striking world a little bit, you know. But that's not to say that number 4 and number 2, which was Maki Patolo, his body shots were there. He also took a couple shots, but his body shots were there. But I think what hurt him was his opponent didn't give him a war, and I think Dana loves wars. The first fight, Rosales, he gave Pierce a war, so you could hear it in the crowd. You know what I mean? Like, and I think Dana eats that up. He's Caesar, basically, if you think about it. He's Caesar in the Roman Colosseum, so he's already getting a reaction of like, wow, all right, these guys do. The other fight ended so quick that you're like, what, is he a stud, or did the other guy just, collapse too quickly or crumble too quickly? Not to take anything away from the body shots, but still, it all happened so fast. And then when you get to the submissions, I thought the Brazilian, what might hurt him is not being able to speak a lick of English. And I don't know, man. You got a 10-hour flight to practice something and just ooze a little bit of charisma.
Everybody knows thank you very much. Right?
Anything, yeah. And I just thought, well, that or the fight, they were kind of stalled up against the fence a little bit, and so it was a little bit slow. It was more the opponent than him. So I thought, it was the first fight was so great that we were all just going, wow, that was awesome. Like, this already made it worth coming here on a Tuesday in 100-degree weather, to sit here and watch this. The other ones just, it was the dance partner that I thought might be hurting him. And then the middle fight was Mini Brian Butler. I thought that was just kind of like a decision that I was like, ooh, now Dana White's already clarified, hey, decisions don't bother me. Remember our guy here, Puna got in on a decision, and then this cat just got in on a decision. It's not that. So I feel like Dana's kind of told us a lot of things that he's looking for. Some just kind of cover up what he says in prior weeks or in prior scrums. But regardless, with all 5 getting in, now I'm thinking, fuck. Okay, to answer your question, send him to Dana White Contender Series. There's probably a good chance that as long as he fights his ass off and wins, he's getting in.
I didn't watch. I followed along on Twitter. And the one thing when the event was over that I saw a lot of people say was, I think this might be the night where 4 of them get in. Then I saw the tweets afterwards going, oh my God, 5 got in. But I did see quite a few people saying they were fairly confident with that there could be 4 that night.
Well, because of the finishes and because of the killers. But see, when he cut Willis and Theodoro, he goes, I want to see fighters that have the potential to be something special. And last night, I know it's early, and I'm not trying to say I'm the MMA scout the greatest MMA scout of all time, but I have a feeling, right, of what I see. And especially in the certain divisions that they're in, the ones that are just stacked, dude. And I don't know if I saw anybody that could get to 8-3 like Theodoro did, or 4-1 like Willis did. And those are the ones that are supposed to be showing promise that they could maybe be a world champ one day. I did see pretty good fighters, maybe raw, maybe that can get better or whatever. But I don't know that I saw that just yet. So that's where I get confused, because it's many storylines that get thrown at me. Killers, yeah. Going for it, yeah. Going for a finish, okay, all that. But that type of promise that he addressed when he had to make those controversial cuts, no.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So when he did all 5, I was happy for all of them, because that's the reality show part of it that actually strikes a chord with me. When he's sitting there and Laura Sanko's saying, okay, let's go one by one. Yeah. The little crowd that's there kind of erupts. And I'm sure at home, watch parties, that's pretty cool. And then number 2, he's in too. You know what I mean? So all that was a great feeling. All the endorphins were hit for everybody that was walking out. Everybody was high-fiving or stoked or happy or whatever. Pretty cool. Now, can he do that every week? I don't know. He also said, if I'm bringing in 5, I may have to make 5 cuts somewhere along the way. So maybe it is some sort of a pressure. And maybe the other promotions are like, excellent. Go ahead and cut some of those fighters. You know what I mean? Maybe. Because you just can't tell based off of a 2-fight losing streak or a certain run that someone may not be it or may not have it. There's a lot of world champions that the UFC's had where at first you're like, oh man, their run's over, and you just don't think about them anymore, But then they do come back and win a title. So
Could it be that he just? You ever watch a fight and you think it was good, but it turns out when you go on social media and not that many people were saying the same thing as you? Could he have one of those scenarios where if he were to watch it again, he'd go, maybe this looked different to me on the night of?
yeah,
Yeah?
for sure. I've done that. I wanted to go back and answer one question though. I'm looking at the talent level of the last couple of seasons, and I guess Maurice Green's doing well. Macy Chasson is doing good. Panny Kianazad just lost. But remember, that's the season that had Primslaw or Coleslaw and all that, and a few others. I guess that season maybe we need to let it breathe a little bit more. So they did get 2 prospects out of it. And I'm going back to a question you asked between Tough and Dana White Contender Series. That is a lot to put your fighter through. You aren't getting paid for those fights. They are exhibitions. They are going through weight cuts. So is it basically
away.
worth the exposure is the big question. They get great training. They get fed great. And the exposure is awesome. You heard Jorge Masvidal say not having to turn on a phone or an iPad or anything like that was just changed my life, The season prior to that, which was Ultimate Fighter, remember when they were all undefeated goes?
Mm-hmm.
That was Miocic versus Daniel Cormier. And I'm looking at Trizano and Giannetti, Zuniga and Gunther. Those were kind of the semifinalists. Katona, Bryce Mitchell. I suppose Bryce Mitchell is kind of doing his thing. Cuccinello made the finals, but he's over at Final Fight. He's not even in the UFC. And they did have one other guy that was it Tyler Diamond that had the great promise. I think he's maybe waiting for some sort of so.
But
yeah,
it doesn't have the
know.
impact that some of, like, say, 1 through 10 had.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. It's a lot tougher now. I'll go one more, and then we'll move on from that. That was Team Alvarez versus Team Gaethje. Modafferi, Montana Stewart, Emily Whitmire, Rachel Ostrovich. I think this one you could say that was a productive season.
Yeah.
Nico Montano, Jillian Robertson. They're all still kind of fighting. Sajara Eubanks, Lauren Murphy, Barb Honchak, maybe not as much. Lauren
Female's
Murphy
a little different, though, right?
could be, yeah. It's a lot easier to come in and establish yourself. So I don't know. We might have to wait a little bit more, along the lines of what we've seen with Macy and Maurice, where you go, hey, look what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's just tough. Anyway, so like I say, Dana White Contender Series for me, it was a blast. Are you going to go next week? Have you committed to it, or what's your deal? Yeah, okay. Because anytime you don't want to go, trust me, I'll be there. But if not, as long as Richard's cool to come in here, we will do our thing. And kudos to the fellas. They're doing a pre-fight. I've seen them do a post-fight yesterday with John and Dan, and they're knocking it out there with some great post-fight recaps and stuff like that. So you can kind of get to know those fighters a little bit more. I want to reiterate something to everybody as we go to commercial, and that's, and I'm guilty of this. I started to go through a point where these guys, the editors and our writers, they hustle so much that I almost started to become a headline reader or a tweet reader and not diving into the story as much. And within the story, you'll get these little finer details where you can just become a better, more knowledgeable MMA fan, one that's going to enjoy the sport a little bit more. You know how we get caught in those pickles where we go, who did Gaethje fight last? And you have to sit there and think, because
it's too much.
We're taking so much in between PFL and Bellator and Invicta and Bare Knuckle and other sports in our personal lives that we just can't remember all that stuff like we did before. That's what those stories do. And if you invest a minute or two into every story, whatever the post may be, even if it's just like a little blurb, those little details that the writers have to go in and make sure they research and get it all right, they'll go a long way with your MMA fandom. So please check it out. All right, we're going to go to a quick break. You are listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Fight Nation, channel 156. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about that Chad Mendes retirement.
left for Money Mendez. Knocks Jury to the ground with one left hand. And he's an outstanding finisher. Busy with the ground and pounds. Jury to his back. Mendez down to the ground to play. Big right hands on the ground. Herzog standing by. Close to stopping it. There it is. Welcome back to the octagon, Chad Money Mendez.
Good, you're still here. The boys were just getting warmed up. Now the real show begins. Take it away, boys.
Here's SiriusXM Now when you are out of the car. Now included with your subscription for the first time ever. Hear more of what you love, get more control of how you listen, and have more ways to listen anytime or anywhere you want it. SiriusXM Video gives you a backstage pass to your favorite shows, available online and on the app. Just create a username and password, and you're ready to start streaming. Learn more at SiriusXM.com/more. All right, Goes. You heard it. He was on with our friends at MMA Tonight, Misha Tate and Ryan McKinnell. And, of course, you read the news earlier today that Chad Mendez has officially retired. Thoughts?
Well, I was a little shocked to hear that it was something that he kind of knew going in. He had that feeling that this was going to be the last one. I like Chad because he has that type of style. He's a good wrestler. He's stocky, but he brought his hands up to speed to kind of match his wrestling game a little bit. I think he's just one of those awkward, nightmarish guys that not everybody really wants to see. Even Jose Aldo, at the height of what he was doing, you could tell Chad Mendez was giving him problems in certain parts. So he's a good fighter that I think could do that to a lot of fighters even still. But everything he said convinced me. Like, he said all the right things, that he just feels like it's time and he has other things that he can do. And who am I to say, no, Chad, stay in the game and take beatings or whatever, or dish them out, put your family through camps, all that stuff. Like, he said all the right things. It was one of the first times where I just kind of went, yeah, okay. And I'm definitely going to miss the guy because on top of all that, he's a really nice guy. He's a good guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still felt like he had gas in the tank and had something to offer. But if their heart's not in it, then, yeah, you can't do it. If he based it all off Volkanovski and that fight that didn't go his way, well, then I would say, see, I can't even say take your time. That was 7 months ago. He's got another business venture that he's doing. I couldn't tell you if it's going well or nothing like that. It looks like it. It looks happy if you follow him on Instagram. The stuff going on with hunting and all that. But, yeah, I mean, you do have to have your heart in it. You can always come back, but you can't wait too long. He had some skills, though. He was one of those guys where if I'm a fighter, a featherweight, and Maynard or Shelby calls me and says, all right, look, you're headed to Vancouver or Newark or just one of these shows that's popping up. We're giving you Mendez. I'm not going to show them weakness. I'm not going to go, oh, man, really? But that's what I'm thinking. I mean, that dude was tough, man. He was really, really fast, athletic, strong. Just physically gifted, had great wrestling, and tough as nails. Developed some nice hands. I mean, that was one where you go, wow, let's bring in a few experts here to start figuring out how we're gonna break this puzzle down. You know what I mean? I also felt like even after 2 years of the USADA suspension that he served, and even after this Volkanovski loss, I still never felt like he was that far out of contention. Why? He's Chad Mendez. He had only really lost to Aldo until he finally lost to Edgar. Then you can say, well, Aldo and Edgar. But just like Edgar, he's one of those guys that could take a few losses but come back with a win or two, and he was just always right there. He's a guy that had become, I wouldn't necessarily call him like a superstar or a headliner, but he could headline a card. So he's valuable to the UFC. And because he's got, he's with a great team, he's got a great record, a win or two, and he's right back in the mix. He's just always going to be a guy that's always in the mix. So that's where I felt like, if he still has it, go out there and continue competing. But
I agree. Well, one of the sadder parts of what he said for me was, and it's kind of funny because you hear a lot of fighters say they don't like to do this. So I thought it was refreshing that he did, but I felt bad. And it was, he thinks about, what if I would have beat Conor McGregor? How my life would have changed. And whenever you bring stuff like that up to a fighter, they go, I don't play that game, I don't play that, because it is kind of a dangerous road. But think about it. What if he did, man? That probably would have changed the hell out of his life and the landscape of MMA. That was a huge fight.
Yeah.
Conor doesn't win that fight. I don't know that he's still
Or if
Conor.
Nate beats Connors the second time, that would have been an 0-2 effort from Conor after beating Aldo. He still would have been he would have had to go, oh boy. All right, let's get back on that diet.
You're definitely not calling for Floyd.
Go to 145 pounds because he wouldn't have been able to challenge Eddie, which means he wouldn't have been a champ, which means his superstardom just wouldn't have gone, taken those huge steps. Yeah, but I've thought about that. I think I thought about it at one point with Mendez, but for sure I thought about it with Nate Diaz Part 2.
If you're ever gonna play that game, like the butterfly effect on mixed martial arts, where you can really, really change the landscape of MMA, that would be a good fight. And then obviously, if you did something like Hoist Gracie early on.
Is he a Hall of Famer? Oh, go ahead.
Chad Mendes?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
And what we gonna say?
I'm a little bit more of a stickler when it comes to the Hall of Fame. Hoist, part of the allure of those early tournaments was you had a smaller guy beating a bigger guy. And to all of us fight fans at the time, that didn't make sense. You don't see that. Like, Tyson was smaller, but he was big. He was a big dude. It's what you're used to seeing in a street fight. You see that big guy, you go, oh man, that guy probably has skills back then, right? But to see a skinny guy like Hoist do that to people, I think that's what made people say, I want to order the next pay-per-view, and the next one, and the next one. So had he not won that first tournament, and say a guy like Ken Shamrock looking the way Ken Shamrock does, you'd probably go, that makes sense.
Now, I know you just said no, and I need a quick answer from you. I hope this makes sense. You said he's not a Hall of Famer. All right, I understand your answer. Is he a lighter weight class Hall of Famer? Meaning those guys that came from the WEC that were just kind of doing their own thing for a while before they got thrown in as part of a 600-member group.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for some of them WEC guys. And
I would agree, too.
Plus, he's just he's kind of like Frankie Edgar, one of them just little compact guys that I think gave people hell.
Yeah, I would agree.
So I would say that, but UFC Hall of Fame.
But it doesn't exist, right? It's just in our minds. But yeah, he was something else, man. All right, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll be talking to Sadibou C, who is going to be fighting at PFL 2019, Week 4. Remember, that goes down tomorrow night. It'll be back-to-back, C and Curtis. Chris Curtis, he will be on as well. So stay close. We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial. explain that goes. A show that has to do with fighting, blood, violence, and we're coming back to ABBA.
Sometimes we do weird things. It's as far as I want to take it.
Mamma Mia was a badass action film. Prove me wrong.
That's an Mamma Mia.
Mhm.
You're gonna have to speak on that one
Mamma
because I
Mia.
haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't either.
What's Mamma Mia?
Oh, it's based off some Broadway. It's like the ultimate like Greek fantasy kind of story. Pretty good. Worth watching.
Hey Andre, I don't have
Not
to
as
tell
good
you
as
guys.
Crimson Tide.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a second, Josh. Hold on to that one. I don't have to tell you guys to do the whole 9 and then all that outgoing stuff, right? You guys get that part, right?
For phones?
Yeah.
I know yeah.
You get the dial tone and then you start from there.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna send you 2 more possibilities, and if not, we're throwing in the towel. And we're gonna talk about Crimson Tide. That was a homework assignment that I gave Josh. 2 things to announce. For one, Jorge Masvidal took the green light off of Josh and Andre because
You had to mediate, though.
yeah, that was a problem last week communicating, and Jorge was mad, and he told me when I see them, something similar to what happened to Ben Askren is going to happen to your 2 producers when I go to New York.
He said that?
Yeah, and so
Oh my
I
god.
go, calm down a second, George, calm down. And we talked it through or whatever, and I told him the guys profusely apologize, and he was like, all right, tell him it's all good, and it's all good in the hood, and we got no problems.
Mm-hmm.
That's been a great story this week to tell people. I mean, like, people are like, you see that 5-second knockout? And I'm like, yeah, that guy threatened me on the air this week.
Oh man,
I could totally see
Wouldn't it
him
still be
doing
an
it.
honorable thing though?
Giving them
Wouldn't it
the
still
knee?
be honorable?
No, I could see him being in the car. Think of how many times you've been in the car with him.
Yeah.
He's just chilling, right? He's usually just sitting there and then just on the phone waiting, thinking, I'm gonna ask these guys a dumb question, just see what they say.
Yeah,
And they took the bait.
yeah. No, but the hits
I'm
off.
an intern, so yeah, I'll take the bait probably every time.
So get this, guys. So then I also told, I told Josh and I told Andre, listen, I don't know how we got to it, but how did we get to the submarine movie topic, guys? Do you remember?
I tried to think back on it, and I don't remember how we ended up on
I think it was an
the
actor.
Gene Hackman, Denzel Washington
Denzel Washington,
submarine movie.
James Gandolfini. I know I brought them up, but regardless, so we got to it, and they hadn't seen it. They hadn't seen that movie. It came out in 1996. These are young cats, so
That's
I get
where
it.
I graduated.
I get it. I wasn't vilifying them in any way, but I said, look, if you just wanna go back in time and check out a good movie with actors you'll recognize, go check this out. And apparently Josh did. Andre, of course, didn't. He's all into keto or whatever, and his lady. But Josh, tell me, what did you think of it?
I thought it was a very good movie. I liked, it's very, it was like kind of played to so many of the Cold War like stereotypes and just kind of like the people in power at that time and kind of the masculinity of it all,
Right.
and just kind of the strong wills of Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington going up against each other. I thought it was pretty entertaining. I really enjoyed it.
I'm starting to remember why. Because didn't Josh say something funny that sounded like, hey, Voss, systems are ready to go, man? Didn't he say that? And Andre
maybe.
actually did a cut
Yeah,
on
I
it?
think it was like
You
I
had
was
asked
just
me
doing
about
my
that guy.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was.
All
So
right.
did you see that part? That part where Viggo Mortensen has the only key to launch the torpedoes
Yeah.
or whatever, and that guy tells him that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was you. That was the voice that you had used.
Did
the
you
other day.
recognize a lot of the actors? Not like the,
yeah,
the big
yeah.
ones, but like some of the smaller ones that a lot of people don't
Yeah.
even like. The kid from Silver Spoons is in it.
Ricky Schroeder?
Yeah,
Ricky Schroeder, yeah.
a lot of the guys, I don't remember their names. The 2 guys who are the communications guys, I recognize them.
Yeah, Bronx.
I don't know
Tale.
their names. Obviously, I recognize Gandolfini, Hackman, Washington, Vigo, all those guys. I recognized all of them
Not bad,
pretty
right?
easily. Yeah. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I've kind of been on this weird war movie kick lately, so
All right,
it was
so-
kind of really nice touch to that.
Didn't you save that, Andre? That little drop.
Yeah, I think I saved it, but it's not cut up into pieces yet.
Okay, that means he didn't save it.
He agreed that if he didn't like, or that if he liked that, he would now watch U571. Because remember he was
No,
saying
I
I
didn't told him about you.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
yeah, you brought it
I
up.
told him there was
I think
another
you
one
did, yeah.
waiting for him, but
Yeah.
I didn't give him the
Yeah,
name yet.
but I had to get through Crimson Tide first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So is my credit good with you? Can you say, wow, George knows his way around a good movie?
Yes. Now here's the thing. It's one movie, And I feel like with a cast like that, if it had been bad, I would have been like, wow, this like. George only goes
is
for.
an idiot. You
He's
had every right to say.
He's a blockbuster chaser. You know, he only likes movies with certain actors in it.
You would have had every right to say George is an idiot. How could he strike out with all these great actors?
You're 1 for 1. You're 1 for 1.
You ready for me to go 2 for 2?
Yep.
Check out
What is it?
U-571. It's another submarine movie.
What year is it made in?
It's made not too long after that one, maybe 5 years.
Okay.
But it's based on a time in history that's way different from what you just saw.
But also has to do with war.
Like when? When is it based on?
I guess World War II.
World War II.
Okay, I like World War II stuff. That's very exciting.
You're going to dig it. You're going to go, wow, George, give me another one, man. You're on fire is what you're going to tell me. And this goes for all you other young cats that are listening right now. If you want some good movies from my era, I'm your guy. Denzel Washington was in this one. Gene Hackman. And then that other guy that's recognizable is George. I don't know if you pronounce it Zunza. Zunza, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
The guy that kind of...
portly fella?
Yeah, that dude. Max Craven, Viggo Mortensen, James Gandolfini, who was...
Viggo looks so different.
Yeah, for sure.
Viggo looks so young. He looks like Dolph Lundgren in Rocky 4. He kind of looks like Drago a little bit.
Yeah. By the way, I saw him the other day.
Dolph?
Yeah.
How's he looking?
Not like he did back when he was Ivan Drago, but still looked great.
He looked pretty big in Rocky, not Rocky 2, Creed 2. Yeah, he looked really big in Creed 2.
And then the guy that played, here's another 90s movie, Bronx Tale.
Oh, I thought you were going another route.
No, the guy that played C, Colangelo, the older guy, he's in that movie as well. He's actually the one that has to fix the communication system.
So is the guy from Can't Buy Me Love.
Yes. Yeah, he's in that as well. Anyway, just to pull away from that, we'll see if we can give some other movies down the road. But yeah, that's the next one, Josh. Check that one out. U-571. It's got Bill Paxton in it. It's got Matthew McConaughey in it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm down.
Bon Jovi.
A few others that you'll recognize.
Wait, John Bon Jovi's in this movie?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys.
You've got my attention.
All right. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll be talking to Chris Curtis, who headlines PFL Week 4, and that's tomorrow night on ESPN2.
Covered with participation awards. They have boxes of gold stars that they purchase themselves. They are the legends and demand your respect. Here are George and Goes.
All right, folks, tomorrow night, PFL 2019, Week 4 is upon us. PFL is on ESPN Plus at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Then they move over to ESPN2 at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Your main event tomorrow night includes Chris Curtis versus Magomed Karamov. Magomed Karamov is the Season 1 winner for the PFL, so he's already a millionaire. Chris Curtis says he's going to be a millionaire by the end of this year. He was in our studio a few weeks ago, and he says he's welcoming fighting the Season 1 champ during the regular season. He wants to just get down and get right to it. So joining us now on the hotline is Chris Curtis. What's up, Chris? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm good, man. Getting rehydrated and fed finally, so I'm feeling pretty good though.
Right on. I mean, why mess around, right? Just give me the best right now, and you might as well start sending a message to the rest of the division that you mean business, and that's what you would accomplish if you take out a Season 1 champion.
I was going to fight him at some point, so might as well do it now, right? Why wait?
Exactly. Now, have you seen him at all this week at all? Have you guys exchanged looks or mean mugs or anything like that?
I see him all the time. He's all around the hotel casino. He's a super nice dude, so really nice, quiet, respectful. So there's nothing like that going on. He's a really chill dude. And, so it's funny. Like we were talking earlier, it's no biggie. Like we're gonna fight tomorrow. Nothing changes that. So we're both like why be dicks about it.
Nice. All right. Well, maybe I was just grouping everybody together, but it seems like a lot of the fighters from Eastern Europe sometimes they will just give you these menacing looks, at least according to what I've heard.
Stare through your soul,
from
right?
other fighters. But you're saying Magomed Karamov is keeping it classy.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's a pretty chill dude. I like him. So it's a shame I got to beat him up, but I like him.
What did you guys talk about? Fighting or other stuff?
Just keeping it polite. Have to cut go everything. We're sitting around waiting, laughing about how we spend most of our time sitting around waiting for people.
I got you. Well, you weren't sitting around waiting for a call, right? We were on time?
Yeah, you guys are great. I'm just sitting down eating some pizza now. So, yeah.
Ooh, pizza. Okay, those are the kind of carbs that'll put it on
quickly.
Quickly.
Meal, man.
Yeah, what'd you put on your pizza?
Just Supreme, man. We found this little awesome pizza joint out here. You can't get, like, Domino's or anything like that, like crap pizza. You just find, mom and pop's pizza shop. Got some coal-fired pizza. It's pretty great. So, just Supreme pizza, man. Just enjoying life right now.
What will you weigh when you walk into the cage tomorrow?
Between probably 190 and 200, depending on how tonight goes.
Get the fuck out! Really?
Hopefully towards 190, but I retain water hard, so I prefer like 90, 95 tops, maybe 200, but I want to stay kind of lean and mobile.
Dog, you were like 170 today. You might be in 24 hours. You might be up to 30 pounds heavier.
I have been 30 pounds heavier within 10 hours before. So I'm rehydrating slow. I'm not stuffing myself. If I go crazy, I will be 200 pounds tomorrow. So I'm going slow. I'm pacing myself. I'm just getting my water in. It's the first time I'm really eating today. I'm going slow. So hopefully it's about 190.
Dude, that is a lot, man. 30 pounds in 10 hours. What are you, the Nutty Professor? How do you do that?
I feel him. That's our biggest problem. We retain water too, right? That's why we look the way we look.
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm a fairly big dude, and I retain a lot of water. And also, if you allow me, I'll eat until I'm sick, and then I'll eat more. So having to be very controlled, professional, and I should be pretty lean so tomorrow. About 190, I'm thinking.
If you think about it, that little example I gave, the Nutty Professor, he wasn't happy with where he was, but when he becomes Buddy Love, he's super happy. But Chris is the other way around. He's miserable when he's down being a thinner person, but then once he eats the pizza and the carbs, he becomes Buddy Love.
He likes to be clump.
200-pound Chris is the most ultimate Buddy Love, dude. I'm the happiest dude. I did photo shoots today with the ring girls and on the beach just hanging out. Like, it's been nothing but fun.
There you go.
When you get some food and water in me, I'm the greatest guy to be around.
Chris Curtis, our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio. You got to catch his fight versus Magomed Karamov tomorrow night on ESPN2. It's PFL 2019. Week 4, again, on ESPN2 at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That's the main card. Go to ESPN Plus for the prelims. That also includes Kayla Harrison. So great night of fights there that the PFL has for you guys. All right, Goes, what do you have for Chris Curtis?
So, Chris, when we talk about Magomed, he's been on a very, very impressive run. But that being said, I mean, they say everybody has holes. When you watch his game, have you found those holes through video, or is it just a matter of being better than him that night?
Everybody's got holes. Like, if you go and study a guy's video 9 out of 10 times, like, I always say, I'm not going to put too much into it because he should be getting better in camp. And I don't, I've seen guys go out there with too much of a game plan. Like, he's going to do this, I can do this. He doesn't do it, and everything goes, everything falls apart. So instead of like worrying about holes, it's got to be better than him tomorrow. And I know I'm better than him. I just got to perform. That's all it is. I'm the best guy in this tournament, hands down. I believe that in my soul. I've been saying it to you guys and everybody else. I'm screaming from the rooftops. I'm the best guy in this tournament, hands down. All that's left is for me to perform.
Chris, with the insane pace that the PFL has, they say that in between fights is when you're not training for a specific opponent is when you're getting better. You kind of don't have that luxury. Can you get better in between fights, or is it about sharpening the skills you already have?
For me, it actually kind of works out funny. It works out well because I can get better because regardless of who I'm fighting, my fighting style doesn't change. I try not to look at, like, okay, if you go in, you try to mold yourself to how somebody fights, big chance you're going to end up, biting the bullet on this one. Like, it's just, people change, people get better. So we'll be like, okay, this guy does this, we'll address it. But my entire career has been keeping my hands sharp, working on my grappling and wrestling. So my camps don't have to change ever. Not very few people, no one has really, very few people will outstrike me. So not going to worry about that. If we want to stand in front of me, I'm going to beat you up. So all of my camps are just, normally grappling, wrestling focused anyway, so nothing changes for me.
All right, Chris. Well, like I told you, we'll keep it short because it's one day before fight day. So I know you need to focus on this fight, but I'm glad we got to catch up and see how you're doing.
Focus on the fight tomorrow. Tonight's just having fun talking to you. I'm having fun talking to you guys. Don't worry about that.
All right, pizza night. All right, is it going to be just pizza by itself, or you throwing down some pasta as well?
Nah, dude, I'm not a huge pasta fan. I'll kill some Alfredo, but I don't eat pasta a lot. I don't really know why.
All right. What about as far as drinks? You keep to water, or what do you mow them pizzas down with?
I've already put down about 2 gallons of water today. Right now I got some lemonade. I'm a huge lemonade drinker, man. I love lemonade. Lemonade, coffee, and ginger ale are my go-to. So if I can go somewhere and they have, like, house-made lemonade, I get that every time.
Nice. All right, my man. Well, go out there and do your thing. We're going to be tuning in tomorrow on ESPN2 at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. I can't wait for this fight. Should be a great one.
It's going to be fun, man. I'm going to go out there and try to put on a show. So, hopefully it comes to fight.
There you go. All right. Thank you, Chris, for the time. Take care. All right, folks. Follow him on Twitter at ActionMan513. He is headlining against the Season 1 champ, Magomed Karimov. Now, some quick odds. There are some odds out for PFL 2019 Week 4. Chris, as confident as he is, he's saying head and shoulders above the rest. He is the underdog going in. Want to hear these odds, guys?
Sure.
Magomed Karimov comes in at -425. Chris Curtis comes back at +320.
That's a nice return.
A 4-1
confidence there.
Favorite for Magomed Karimov. And yeah, I mean, if you're a believer in Chris Curtis, you'll get a nice payday. You're right, +320.
Mm-hmm.
But that seemed, I had a feeling that the Season 1 champ would be a favorite. I didn't know he'd be that high. But you really want to laugh your ass off?
Sure.
Look at these odds. If you believe in Morgan Fryer tomorrow, she's
my
plus
God.
1285. That means your $100 bet will get you $1,285 if she were to win that fight.
If I had that, I would do it only because it's a young fighter, and you just never know what's going to happen with those young fighters.
Now, if you want to make a quick $100 on Kayla Harrison. So let's just say your rent is $1,000 and you only have $900. Well, that's a dumb example because if you had it, then you would.
Yeah,
I'll do it this way. You have $900. You're $100 short. So you ask your favorite uncle, "Hey, can you lend me $2,525. And he says, for what? You say, don't worry. I'll get it back to you here in less than 15 minutes. You run up, boom, put $2,525 to win 100 on Kayla. She wins. You get the $2,525. You give it back to your favorite uncle. Thanks, favorite unc. And you get that last 100 you needed for the rent.
Nope.
You wouldn't risk it?
No. I mean, I'd be
Those
scared
are
to do
big
stuff like that
odds.
with people like John Jones.
They haven't
Daniel
quoted
Cormier.
odds like that in a while, right?
No way, man.
Yeah, speaking of John Jones, I mean, we didn't really talk too much about it, but yeah, you're right. I mean, when you hear that the first judge gave it to Thiago Santos and you saw that the fight was close, and your heart must have been racing, anybody that bet John Jones. In fact, I'm going to ask permission. Let me write this down. But somebody showed me a ticket. Let me see if I can do this correctly.
Oh, was it a gentleman that was in the studio not too long ago?
Yes.
I think I saw that too.
He showed me a ticket that would have paid $21,000. It was a $3,000 one-teamer, and it included John Jones.
Diego?
I believe, was it Diego Sanchez and Jorge Masvidal?
I think so.
Because I saw there was a big favorite, and then there was, how would that be though?
I don't know that it was 21, but I remember it was a high number.
I thought it was 21,000.
No, I thought it was like 12 or something like that.
All right, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna send him a quick text.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I saw it, I felt so bad. Now, he lost it early. His first fighter lost. The other ones won. But he had John Jones, and then he had a big favorite and a big underdog. But still, that should have canceled out to less than 6-1.
I saw the ticket, and I don't think it was that high.
It didn't say 21,000?
I don't think so.
Well, maybe I can figure this out. All right, so just to recap here, even though Sadabusi wasn't able to come on, we might still be able to rally him in the second hour.
Okay.
We also have Sean O'Connell in the second hour, the real OC, Season 1 winner in the light heavyweight division for the PFL, also a colleague of ours here on SiriusXM in the second hour. Guess who else we have in the second hour?
Who?
Jhenny Andrade is going to be on the show, the 3-time best ring card girl winner in a row. She's won 3 in a row. She won it this past Saturday, and she will actually be in studio. So it's going to be a fun second hour. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on SiriusXM, Fight Nation, Channel 156. Stay close, and we'll be right back.
Take this pink ribbon off my
They were
eye.
abducted by aliens and instantly returned for raiding all their snacks. They are Gorgeous George and Goes. And this is MMA Junkie Radio.
All right. Big shout out to Greg Savage from PFL for lining up Chris Curtis. We'll be talking to Sean O'Connell in a few minutes as well. And we're still hoping to catch up with Sadabusi, another welterweight who participates in tomorrow night's card. Now I want to welcome to the show Jhenny Andrade, the 3-time winner. She 3-peated the best ring card girl category at the World MMA Awards. Congratulations, Jhenny, and welcome back to
Thank you,
MMA
my
Junkie
friend.
Radio.
Hi, my friends. How are you?
Good. How about you?
Good.
Are you still
I'm
happy?
So happy? Yeah, so
Yeah?
happy. Yeah.
It's been almost a week, right? Last Wednesday?
Yeah. What a night. What a week. A
You
lot
get-
of.
You got emotional when you when they said your name and you were walking up. You were emotional.
Yeah, so emotional, nervous, and so happy.
Where are your trophies in your house? Where do you keep them?
In my bed.
Oh,
my room.
right by your bed.
Yeah.
Okay, so you already have a spot for the all the trophies.
Yes, yeah.
Do you have names for the trophies?
I don't have space, but I will try. I put together the three
Good.
trophies.
All right. I wanted to ask you. I don't know if you know this, but in the best ring card girl category, Ariane Celeste has 6.
Yeah.
You're in second place now. You have 3. Brittany Palmer has 2.
2.
Yeah. So you passed Brittany recently, and now you're, I guess, chasing Ariane for the most
Yeah.
trophies. I don't know if you guys are competitive or friendly or what, but
Yeah, I don't know, but I love Ariane. I love all your work. But I'm so happy to 3 times, and I don't know the next. I don't have idea, my friend. I'm so happy now this year, of all the years 3 times, and I don't know the next year. I don't have idea, but I hope so. To try my best with my fans, with all the events of the UFC, of the signings. I love to meet, to talk and hug my fans in signings, autograph sessions. I love this.
nice.
Is there one that's more special than the others? Like, was the first one more special than all of them, the 3?
No, I know all they special to me.
Yeah?
The first, the second, and now I enjoy all the times, all the year. Yeah.
How about you guys? Of the 5 that we won,
Of the 5,
was there anyone that was more special?
I thought the third one was kind of cool. Because by then our staff was a little bigger. You know, it felt like it was more of a big team effort.
Yeah.
I think now it's so much difficult because I don't know if the fans will vote again all the years, all the times, and I think now is the most difficult.
Do a lot of your fans tell you when they vote for you, when they see you?
Yeah, in Twitter and all the social medias. Oh, I voted for you, and thank you.
You were at the Fan Expo, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, the fans around the world, and I like to meet all the fans from Russian, USA, Brazil too, for the Thiago, Amanda to watch the UFC last Saturday, and so amazing Fight Week and Fan Expo.
Are all the fans the same, even though it's from different parts of the world? Do they act the same? Like respectful and happy, or are some fans different than other fans?
Oh, all the fans so happy. I think so. And my social medias and Twitter. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. And I think so.
But when they meet you in person, how do they act?
Sorry?
When they meet you in person,
Yeah.
how do your fans act?
All the fans. Congratulations, Jhenny. I'm so happy. Congratulations. All the time, all the days when I stay in Las Vegas the last week at the casino, Fan Expo, and at the fight last Saturday, and all the fans, congratulations.
Nice. You know, another Brazilian female won. Amanda Nunes had a big night.
Yeah.
3. She won 3 trophies.
Yeah, 3 trophies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know Amanda pretty well, or?
Yeah, I love Amanda, and I presented the knockout of the year, and I'm so happy to put your trophy
Yeah,
to Amanda.
Present.
Present. Yeah, the trophy, the knockout of the year to Amanda and the Cyborg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amanda's incredible. How popular is she in Brazil? Is she famous in Brazil?
Yeah, so famous. Yeah, so famous.
Yeah.
Now better than they, né? Now it's so much famous. After the days and the Jose Aldo so famous too.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of time.
You see them on TV a lot, or in the newspaper, or on the internet. Where do you see the athletes the most?
Most famous
Yeah.
in Brazil.
Yeah. Like
Jose Aldo.
on TV.
On TV, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Jose Aldo and Vitor Belfort. Yeah.
Bigger than Anderson, all those guys.
Anderson
Vanderlei.
too. Anderson too. Vanderlei, yes too. But
Is
Jose
is
Aldo
Amanda with them?
because your video, your film of
Yeah,
the Jose Aldo,
the movie.
the movie, yeah, of the Jose Aldo, so much famous, and they watch it all the time on TV. They repeat on
I see.
your movie.
Now, let's say Aldo, famous here.
Yeah.
Anderson here.
Yeah.
Where's Amanda? Is she close or
It's close.
halfway or where?
It's close.
Really?
The girls making your history on MMA, yeah, so close, yeah.
What about Jessica Andrade?
Jessica close to Amanda, and after Anderson for the long time, yeah.
When Jessica slammed Rose,
oh my God!
did Brazil
Yeah.
did they show that a lot on TV?
The first time I cried, yeah, my first time
In
when
the
I
UFC
watched.
fights?
Yeah.
Why?
I love him. I love Jessica because I don't know, so much simple girl. Yeah, so much happy girl. I like so much Jessica.
Wow, that was the first time you cried.
Yeah, first time.
Okay.
Oh wow!
I'm so nervous.
She's been doing this for 6 years, right?
Yeah.
In the UFC now.
6 years.
You
Yeah.
got goosebumps?
Yeah. First time.
How about we always hear about the favelas in Brazil? Are they able to watch the fights there? Is there a certain area where they get together and watch even there?
The favelas.
Yeah.
On Rio.
Mm-hmm.
What I think.
Can they watch the UFC there in the small? Do a lot of them come together and watch it?
Like, is the UFC on regular TV, or is you have to pay to watch over there?
Do need pay. Yeah.
So it's maybe similar to here, like
sometimes the main event we can watch on global TV.
Everybody,
yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes only the fights in Brazil, but with 2 times ago, not live. 2 times ago, the time.
What I will say is, when I've been to favelas, a lot of people will gather and just pay for whatever they need, whether it's soccer or.
Do they have like a square? You know, like.
Yeah, they do. They have a lot of
in
that.
Holland, how everybody just gets together in one spot.
Oh, no, not like that.
But
I've
smaller
seen,
scale.
But I've seen kind of like a community bar, for example.
Yeah.
There's a lot of favelas that are really, really.
They have like schools and everything, right?
Exactly. So they're very developed, and so like when you go to a bar, you are actually in a bar. Now there's other favelas that I've been through where you can tell that they're just putting it together, or because there's different favelas that kind of appear at. I was there from 2001 to 2009. When I was there in 2001, there was more in 2009. So a lot of them are just created, just over time.
Yeah.
Is that the same in Sao Paulo as well?
No, better than Rio de Janeiro.
Rio has more favelas?
Yeah, more favelas, yes.
Gotcha. All right. Now, you've been here for about a week, right?
Sorry?
Você fica aqui uma semana?
No,
Mais?
until tomorrow.
Until tomorrow.
Yeah. 15 days in Las Vegas.
15 days?
Yes.
Why today's the first
Las
day in
Vegas.
MMA Junkie Radio?
Oh my God! 2 weeks ago, yeah.
2 weeks ago, you should have came to MMA Junkie Radio.
Yeah. I don't know why. So
She forgot about us.
I was.
She's famous.
No.
She's got 3 trophies.
I was nervous to record a text to presenter on MMA awards.
You're practicing?
Yeah, all the times. And I was recording and making videos for YouTube, the kinds of foods in Las Vegas, and I was recording all the days with my husband.
Did you play blackjack?
Yes, play blackjack, and then now I prefer roulette.
Roulette?
Yeah.
Did you win?
Yeah,
or lose?
sometimes I win, and I buy this with
Is that an Apple Watch?
Yeah, with the money of the roulette.
Cool.
That's smart.
Yeah.
And the after the day I lost
And where's your husband?
in the hotel.
Oh.
Make a video.
He didn't want to come to MMA Junkie radio?
Yeah, he was editing the videos.
Oh, editing. Okay.
Yeah, he editing
Editing
the
yeah.
videos.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay, so he helps you with all of your social media.
Yeah. He helps me, and I help he too.
Yeah. All right. I do want to ask you something, but we got to take a quick commercial. So let's do that. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Fight Nation Channel 156. When we come back, I do want to ask Jhenny. Her and I have talked about this one time on WhatsApp about the Dominican Republic. You've gone there to take vacations, but wow, there's been some dangerous situations. And I got information on that parlay. My man got back to me, so I'll read you guys exactly what he did and what he would have done had he hit that parlay at UFC 239. You're not going to believe it. It was a $1,000 parlay, and it looks like it would have paid. Where's the number here? It does say $21,000. So anyway, I'll tell you about that when we come back.
Both iPhone and Android carry a feature to make their show more enjoyable. It's called the mute button. Here are those two numbnuts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
All right, we're joined by Jhenny Andrade here in studio. She's a UFC ring card girl, and she was voted for the third time in a row at the World MMA Awards Best Ring Card Girl. So she's hanging out with us here in studio. So we'll get to her in just 1 second. But that parlay that we were talking about, a friend of ours, he made a bet. You know what a bet is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
$1,000.
Ooh.
He bet Diego Sanchez, Chance Rencontre, John Jones. John Jones win. Chance Rencontre win. Diego Sanchez no win.
Yeah.
If Diego win,
Yeah.
he wins $21,000.
Really?
Yeah, look. 21,000. Where is it? 21,000.
Oh my God! Just one.
So $1,000 parlay, but all three had to win. And I mistakenly said that it was two underdog or one underdog and two favorites.
And one.
But there you go. Chance Rencontre was plus 375. Diego Sanchez was plus 790. And so that helped offset John Jones's minus 700.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
The
my
funny
God.
thing is, had Sanchez won and Rencontre won, then going into the main event, you got to feel pretty good that you got John Jones. But then Thiago Santos almost beat him.
Yeah.
I would have fainted.
Would you have hedged at all?
Maybe, but
That's the one time where I think I maybe
But Jones has
wouldn't have
never
hedged
lost
at all.
Imagine if Sanchez wins, Rencontre wins, the last fight you have John Jones, and then it was a split decision.
Yeah.
I would have a heart attack if I lost that.
Mhm.
All the fights that John Jones wins, he finally loses when I bet on him. Anyway, what did you think of that fight, Thiago Santos against John Jones?
My opinion, I think so. Thiago won round 1 and round 2.
Yeah.
And after John Jones won round 2, 3 and 4. And the round 5, I hope so. Thiago won.
For one, very well explained,
Mhm.
and I think that's how we had it back home, right?
I think
Or
so,
when we were
yeah.
doing the Sportscaster, we felt like we kept saying, look, it could be 1-1 going into 3, but our feeling was that Thiago had won the first 2 rounds,
Yeah.
and then John for sure came back and won round 3 and round 4. And now I'll say this, one judge gave Thiago round 4 and one judge gave Thiago round 2, but in those 2 rounds, it didn't work out. But one judge did have it, Thiago Santos 3-2, and he hurt his knee.
Your knee. The first round and the so strong to make all the rounds.
He tore his ACL,
Yeah.
meniscus, MCL, and what else? LCL?
PCL.
PCL, yeah, like
And maybe
3 ligaments.
maybe the both knees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but he's very brave, very courageous, and he almost did it. But did you go to the fights?
Yeah,
You were in the arena?
Yeah, amazing.
You thought he
all,
won?
all the fights, the main event. Oh my God, Masvidal with Ben Askren.
Mm-hmm.
What a fight!
Fast, huh?
Yeah, so fast. 5 seconds. Oh my God.
You were probably barely sitting down when that happened.
Yeah, yeah, so crazy. And Amanda with Holly Holm, so nice too. What a knockout! And after Amanda and John Jones.
John Jones, yeah, and then before that,
Before
Jan Blachowicz beat Luke Rockhold.
Luke Rockhold.
That was
yeah.
a good knockout.
Yeah.
And then Michael Chiesa beat Diego Sanchez.
Yeah, Chiesa won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diego Sanchez, I guess Chiesa's been doing the media rounds, and he's been saying that Diego Sanchez stuck his finger up his butt in the bunda.
Really?
Can you believe that?
No.
Yeah, he actually said that. And Diego admitted it. It was like either that or I'm being trolled, but I could have sworn he said that to Matt Serra on the UFC Undisputed, and then somehow this was on Instagram, and I thought I saw Diego's tag, his username, him saying, "Yeah, that's why they call me Dirty Sanchez. That's Gilbert. I've done it to him too." And see if you can find it. Actually, you'll get a kick out of it, and then we'll know it's authentic. But I thought I read that. I was like, "What? That's crazy."
So crazy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the fights. I don't know, punch, not finger.
Yeah, not this.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so when are you doing the Ring Card Girl next? What's your next events?
August 10, Montevideo.
That's Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah.
Against Liz Carmouche.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
title defense.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the next one.
Amazing.
Have you ever been to Montevideo, Uruguay?
Never been. First time at Uruguay.
First time. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what's after that? Any more events?
São Paulo.
Sao Paulo, right? November
Yeah,
or when?
November 10 November, I don't know, and maybe Mexico.
Mexico too.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask you this.
Yeah.
You didn't see Brazil beat Peru in the Copa America final?
No, I don't watch it because.
But isn't your friend Neymar?
Yeah, but I was enjoying the Las Vegas.
For 2 weeks?
Yeah, I was enjoying all the times on the strip, making videos of the foods and the play roulette all the times.
I think you just forgot, right?
Yeah, I
You
forgot.
You
Yeah,
forgot. Okay, that's what happened.
I will watch on my flight.
Well, they beat Peru 3-1. They're the Copa America champions, and
Yeah.
it was big for the country of Brazil.
Yeah.
What's I mean, this might be a ridiculous question, but Amanda Nunes winning that Brazil
fight?
loves that, but the soccer's still bigger than MMA, or is it close, or what?
In Brazil, the soccer is bigger than to MMA, but the MMA is so close, so close. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so you're saying it's closing the gap a little bit.
Yeah, closing. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm so happy. Yeah, the girls too. Amanda, Jessica make history of the Brazil.
There's no men champions right now, right? No, because it's Henry. Marlon Moraes didn't win, so Henry,
Just
Came close,
Jessica.
Max, Habib. Can you
Yeah.
name all the champions?
Sorry,
Can you name all the champions?
the new champions
You know the name of all the champions?
of the Brazil.
No, of all
Of
the
all of
UFC.
them.
The name me.
Yeah, it's a pop quiz. You know what a pop quiz is?
Oh my God, come here.
Okay, no, wait. We'll start like this.
She did do who, me?
Oh
What
my
she get points
God.
Men
Who, me?
flyweight. The smallest men flyweights. You know?
Men.
Yeah.
Cerrudo.
for? Yeah.
Men bantamweight. One step up.
Sounds a lot like what you just said.
Usman. No.
No.
Mm,
I'll tell you. Cejudo. Because Cejudo's champ.
yeah, double champ.
Yeah, so he's Cejudo and then Cejudo again.
Yeah,
He has two
yeah.
belts.
Yeah.
He beat Moraes. Marlon Moraes. So the next one, you know who the featherweight champion is? You have to know this one.
Oh my God. I'm nervous.
Okay. Now remember, we just talked about the most famous Brazil fighter. You said Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
Who beat Jose Aldo?
Oh, Max Holloway.
Holloway.
Yeah.
All right, lightweight, next division.
Next, Usman, Camarão Usman.
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh my God.
He beat Conor McGregor.
Khabib.
Yeah,
Yep.
Khabib.
Next one.
Man.
Yeah.
Mm.
You've been-
Cormier.
No, you've been saying it. Usman. Welterweight.
Usman. Yeah.
Middleweight.
Middleweight.
Give her a hint.
A hint. Australia.
Australia.
Is that a good enough hint?
A little bit more. How about the tattoos?
What is this in?
No?
Well, I'll tell you.
Nothing?
Okay, I'll tell you. There's two champions. The interim champion is Israel Adesanya. The
Adesanya.
undisputed champion, do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Robert Whittaker.
Yeah, Whittaker. Yeah.
Okay. Light heavyweight champion.
Light.
Light heavyweight.
Cormier.
No.
No.
John Jones.
John Jones and Cormier.
Heavyweight Cormier.
Yeah.
Now let's do the women. Ready?
Women. Yeah.
Strawweight.
Jessica.
Yes. Flyweight.
Amanda.
No.
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 Valentina.
Yes.
Yes. And the Amanda and Amanda.
There you go. All right. Yeah, that's
Nice.
really good.
Pretty good.
That's really good. I don't know how the other ring card girls would do, honestly. Some of them are well aware of all of them, but don't feel bad. That was pretty good, Jenny. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. So give me, in your 6 years with the UFC, give me some favorite moments.
Whew. My first time in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
6 years ago. And
Do you remember the event? Or was
yeah,
it?
Lyoto Machida with Weidman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was the first one for you here?
Yeah, in Mandalay.
Wow, time goes by fast, huh?
Yeah. Ronda Rousey in the same card.
Mm-hmm. She beat
That was the fast one. That was
No, that wasn't Kat.
not
'Cause Kat was in L.A.
Alexis Davis, wasn't it?
Did she beat Alexis Davis or Misha Tate? I think it was Misha Tate.
I don't remember.
I think so. Yeah.
Chipotle.
All right.
All right.
Look it up. All right. What else? What about in Brazil? You have favorite moments?
My first time in UFC Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, Jose Aldo with Zumbi, Korean.
Oh, the Korean Zombie. That was
yeah.
like 2013. That was a long time
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
You were there, huh?
Yeah. Who?
He was right. Alexis Davis. Ronda
Alexis
Rousey.
Davis.
I gotta get. You know what Chipotle is? You know what Chipotle is? It's Mexican food. Yeah, we bet Mexican food.
Oh, okay.
You like Mexican food?
I love it.
Yeah.
Tacos?
Yeah, tacos, enchiladas, burritos. All
I
that.
love the corn of the Mexico. So sweet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you been to Mexico?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
What do you think?
Cancun, love it. Yeah, Cancun.
Oh, so let's talk about real quick because we almost are done. You have been to Dominican Republic because I
Yeah.
follow you on Instagram
Yeah.
at Jhenny UFC, right?
Yeah.
Have you heard about the? I'm sure you have because I told you. The people that have been dying there.
Yeah. Do you talk
Is that where you went? That's the resort you went to where the people
the same
died?
resort?
Yeah.
The same?
I don't know. Is that where you went?
What's the name of the
I'll
resort?
tell you right now.
It was a popular one. It's one that they have in a lot of different places.
Americans die in. There you go. It popped up. It is called.
The following.
Yeah, the following. Slow internet. Well, where do you go? What's the name of your resort?
Catalunya.
Oh, okay.
Catalunya.
This one, Hard
Royal
Rock
Bavaria.
Hotel and Casino. That can't be right.
I've heard that.
Really?
Yeah. It's at
Dominican
Punta Cana, right? Punta
Yeah.
Cana.
Like
Yeah.
Resort where deaths occurred. Okay, how about that? Well, I guess I should have had the name ready to go. Yeah, okay. Excellence Resorts in Punta Cana, the Grand Bahia Principe in Punta Cana. I guess there's been incidents in different ones, but that's not where you go?
No.
Good.
The name is Catalunya Royal Bavaria.
You like Dominican Republic?
Yeah,
It's
love
nice?
it. Yeah, so nice.
Like Cancun?
Like better than Cancun.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Cancun, a lot of children's and the so crazy peoples, so drink, and in República Dominicana, so most
Chill?
yeah,
Oh, wow. And then you ever been to Hawaii?
never been,
Jamaica?
never been.
Never been. Just you like to go here.
Yeah,
All right, well, be careful is all
I
we're
need to
saying.
go to Jamaica.
Yeah.
So
just
amazing.
do the research and make sure. But I know that you had gone twice, right? One was the honeymoon, maybe? And one your birthday?
Yeah, and yes,
And there was.
honeymoon and my birthday.
Yeah. Did you hear about it? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, you talk
Okay.
about the people's die.
All right. Well, be safe is all we're saying.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
No, thank you.
We always love having you here. And congratulations on your third award, your third World MMA Award for Best Ring Card Girl.
Thanks, my friend. I'm so happy to be here again. Thank you, Goose.
You're welcome.
And see you soon again.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you coming back next year, or you have any more trips to Las Vegas planned?
I think I will be back this year. I
Good.
think so. Yes. Thank you for all the votes, my fans. Thank you
and
so
thank
much.
you for also voting for us.
Yes,
'cause I've
I
seen you
voted
post
for
that.
you all the times. Oh my God, MMA Junkie.
We appreciate that.
Thank
Maybe
you, my
next year
friend.
we'll win like you did.
Yes, for sure.
All right, folks. That's Jhenny Andrade on Twitter at Jhenny UFC. She's also got YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Hit her up there. We're going to be right back. We'll be talking to Sean O'Connell, the real OC. We'll talk a little bit about PFL 4. Stay close.
They will destroy you. Just ask Three Finger Eddie and Pete the Penguin. Who are they, you ask? My point exactly. They are Gorgeous George and Goes. And this is MMA Junkie Radio.
All right, folks. Just like I told you all earlier when we were talking to Chris Curtis, tomorrow night, PFL is doing their thing. And they're going to start off on ESPN Plus at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. And then you move over to ESPN 2 at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, with a main event that features Chris Curtis and Magomed Karamov. Now, calling the fights will be one of their champions from Season 1, and that's Sean O'Connell. He is now their play-by-play announcer. He, along with Randy Couture and Eve Edwards, they'll be calling the fights. He joins us now on MMA Junkie Radio. What's up, Sean? How you doing?
Doing all right. How are you guys?
Good, my man. You know, I was just thinking about something. We were talking to Chris Curtis about his matchup versus Magomed Karamov, and he's excited about it. You know, this is the Season 1 champ, and a lot of people are saying this might be the best fighter all around that PFL has, but he's really excited about just taking the toughest matchup head on, and not only that, but sending a message to the rest of the division. And I went back to look at who you fought. Damn, Sean, you had a who's who, man, in your season. You had Honey Marks, Baziget Ataev, Dan Spawn, Smielino Rama, Vinny Magalhaes. So you pretty much got I think the toughest guys in your division as well, including Vinny, who was just the regular season MVP. It seemed like of Season 1.
Yeah, it was. It's a tough road no matter which way you go through any of these divisions, and I actually appreciate the way that Chris Curtis is approaching this, because he and I talked about it a little bit. And, last season, people looked at Vinny and talked about Vinny like he was some kind of indestructible, unstoppable force, and I knew he wasn't. And that's how Chris Curtis feels about Magomed.
Mm-hmm.
Maga has looked really excellent, super well-rounded as of late. But Chris is like, dude, I've prepared for guys that are really well-rounded and really good my whole career. Maybe he's the most polished of the guys that I would have faced, but he's like, I'm ready for this. And you're absolutely right. He wants to send a message, and if he does pull off an upset and beat Maga, I mean, that is the statement win of the season so far. That would be a complete shift in the power dynamic, and then all of a sudden Chris Curtis is the man to beat because he knocked off the king.
Yeah, and I just realized, as I was feeding you all that info, I never really gave you a question, but my question would have been, would you have wanted somebody of Vinny's acclaim, because obviously, former UFC vet just like you, M1 champ, would you have wanted the guy that's considered the toughest name early on as well, in your season?
Hell no. You want the toughest fights in the playoffs when it matters most, because it serves two purposes, right? You prove a lot by beating those guys, and you eliminate them from the tournament. You get them out. So even if Chris Curtis beats Maga in this fight, it doesn't do anything to eliminate him from the season. You might have to fight him again. And, all of us that have been watching this sport, following this sport for a long time, know how difficult it is to beat somebody twice. So, yeah, I mean, I respect the hell out of Chris's ambition here, but if I want my toughest fights, I want them in the playoffs. Like my matchup with Bozagit came in this situation, came in the second regular season fight, didn't go my way, and like in hindsight, that would have been a fight that I probably would have preferred to have in the playoffs, where it was, I was a little bit more motivated. It was do or die situation. But that my season's over. My matchups don't matter anymore. This Chris Curtis Magomed Karamov fight, that matters, man. That is something that can really change the whole game at welterweight this year for PFL. Yeah,
you're right. If you're gonna win, you might as well make sure you don't have to see that person again. Right? Almost like the bully mentality, or think about like a street fight or something like that. If you take out their biggest dude, if it's you and your boys against 3 or 4 others or whatever, but you take out that tough one first, all of a sudden the other ones may want to make peace, and all of a sudden, the beef is over.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out. And actually, I've watched all these fights up close, and I think welterweight is the toughest division right now. And even though Maga's going to go in as the favorite, I think Chris has a chance, which, I mean, it tells you a lot about the depth of the welterweight division.
Mm-hmm. Sean O'Connell is our guest here on MMA Junkie Radio. He is the Season 1 champion in the light heavyweight division for PFL, and now he's calling the fights for PFL. You can catch the main card tomorrow on ESPN2 at 8:30 p.m. Eastern start time with a main event that includes Chris Curtis versus Magomed Karimov. All right, goes. What do you have for the real OC?
Sean, in your case, you didn't have the opportunity to do this. Go back and win the second million. But if you had to guess, is there more pressure trying to win that second million, or do you think the fighters that won the first million had more pressure going in there?
I think that it depends on the fighter, right? I mean, Lance Palmer, he's back for the second season at featherweight. He knows how big the target is on his back. He's the guy to beat now. And I think for him, there's a little bit of weight to it. Now, he's the kind of guy who can handle that weight, but it's an added pressure that not a lot of people would be able to successfully manage. I think Maga, he's a guy who's back. He's more polished. He's better. And I think there's just a confidence for him that comes with knowing he's done it before, knowing that he kind of came out of nowhere last year, but everybody respects him now. Everybody knows he's a fighter to be reckoned with, and I think it's a role that kind of suits him. He's very soft-spoken. He's very quietly confident, but I think he actually enjoys being the front runner. So these guys have shown, championship medal before, and I think they have the right mentality to handle the pressure that comes with trying to win a second million. It's going to be harder to do this year because the weight classes are a little bit deeper talent-wise, but I think the people who are back trying to repeat have a good chance of doing it just because they've already proven to me once they can make it through that tough tournament.
If you were coming back for Season 2, what would have been that one thing that you would have tweaked from Season 1 to Season 2 in your game?
I would have definitely committed more to wrestling against other elite strikers, right? Like Bozagit, I never in my career, just because of the way matchups worked out and because of the way that my fighting style is, I never really displayed my ground game at all until that last fight against Vinny in my defense, right? And then people probably still were just like, oh, he's just surviving on the ground, and that's fine, whatever. The results are what matter. But I think that, if I could go back and fight Bozagit again, I think he's a guy that you're going to have to probably get through to get to the finals, or you're going to have to beat him in the finals this year. I would have committed to taking him down, wrestling him, making him grind it out on the ground. And that's something that I think I'm actually pretty darn good at. I just didn't really do it much in my fights. But against like Dan Spawn, who was taller and longer than me, against Bozagit, those would have been, I think, really successful tools.
Sean, should these fighters consume themselves with the $1 million? Was that like a motivator for you? Like, because it can change lives, right? But at the same time, is it in any way a distraction, from really what you need to do is win? Because if you don't win, you don't get in the playoffs. If you don't even proceed through the playoffs, you don't get to that dance that's worth $1 million.
Right. Honestly, for me, I think you should consume yourself with $1 million. I think you should have that up on your fridge, up on the ceiling, up on the wall at the gym. I think you should know what's at stake every time you want to take a rep off when you're lifting, every time you want to take that minute to recover during a hard round or whatever. I think that for me, the $1 million was what motivated me to come out of my pseudo-retirement and really make sure that I tried to be the best version of myself as a fighter. And it was a successful motivator for me because it's a unique opportunity that you do not have other places. I mean, I get it. In the UFC, if you're a title holder, you're making $1 million plus per fight. But you don't have a set schedule to get to that championship. You don't have merit-based matchups all the time. So the path is harder, longer, less direct if you're fighting for anybody else to that kind of money. Mm-hmm. In the PFL, you know what you've got. You got 5 fights in about 6 months. You can put your nose to the grindstone, and that $1 million is a fantastic motivator. So I think people should be obsessed with it. I think people should focus on it because it's just a unique opportunity that nobody else is giving fighters right now.
Right. All right, last question in regards to the co-main event. Kayla Harrison, the participant, she was visibly, like, I guess, upset, or I don't know if we call it emotional, after her last fight, which was a win. Do you think she's been able to shake off whatever happened that night and just realize, hey, look, Kayla, you've been pretty damn perfect throughout this whole thing, and so, yeah, you know, this fight didn't go the way you wanted, but you still came away with the W.
Yeah, no, she's partially shaken that off, but not 100%. And I talked to her today about it, and she's unapologetic. She says, look, this is who I am. I'm a perfectionist. I expect, especially in athletics, to give you closer to perfection, to be a better version of myself than what you saw in that fight. And she was, you know, she's like, look, this is how I am. This is who I want to be. I'm an Olympian. I'm a 2-time gold medalist because of this. So to try and get rid of that mentality completely isn't even a good idea for her. She needs to look back at that fight, recognize the things she did well. She was able to do that with her coaches, but she also saw all the things she should have done better. We talked about some of those today, and I think you're going to see more aggression, especially once she completes a takedown. I think she's going to start going for submissions immediately in this next bout, and that could prove to be the difference between a decision win and a finish.
Yeah. You're right, man. That you said it. Olympic mentality. That's like on a whole other level, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's something that, like, even championship fighters, for the most part, can't understand that. Like, Henry Cejudo could probably relate, but most of us never sniffed something close to a gold medal. So, I mean, when it comes to mentality, I kind of defer to her, and I think that if that's what works for you, that's how you should be.
Yeah, makes all the sense in the world. All right, I guess I needed to hear it through you, who thankfully asked her the same question, but maybe that's what sets some of these Olympians, you know, apart, I guess, from us.
Yeah, it's hard, right? Because we look at athletes, great athletes, and we say, like, oh, that NBA player is so tall, and that's what makes him great, and I could never be that great because I'm not that tall. Well, there is a different mental aspect for someone like Kayla that's fundamentally different from a regular person's mental set, right? Mm-hmm. Like, she has a gear that most of us can't even understand, and so it's hard to relate to it, but it's important to acknowledge.
You know what? I don't know why I had this dumb random thought, but I know I can share it with you because you cover all sports. But I've always been fascinated with Steve Nash going back-to-back MVP in the NBA. Yep. You know what I mean? And just the way he used to play. And there's so many athletes that were more physically gifted. You know, they could jump higher or they were quicker or whatever. But he was just able to put it all together and remain cool on the court. But, you know, that was simply amazing to me, man. And, you know, that was in an era of the Kevin Garnett's and Kobe Bryant's and Shaq's. But, yet he was the one that was – he may not have won the title, I guess, but he won that trophy. That's pretty damn cool.
It's super impressive, and if you ever get a chance to, like, really dive into his mentality, he had this attacking mentality, but it was born of self-awareness. He knew, like, look, I'm never going to be as tall. I'm probably not going to be as fast or as strong as some of these guys. So I have to be really good at the things that I can be good at. That's why his passing was so amazing. His ball handling was incredible. His court vision, the things that were within his control, he controlled and he mastered and he was phenomenal at. And that's how, I mean, I think that's the key to success for a lot of fighters, because not everyone has John Jones's athleticism or George St. Pierre's athleticism or the explosiveness of, like, Yoel Romero. You got to know what you're good at, and you got to hone the things that maybe other people can't touch.
Brother, let me ask you one more if you don't mind. Are you okay on time?
Yeah, no problem, yeah.
Okay, because, again, you talk all sports, and I love it. Megan Rapinoe said today, she's, you know, the co-captain of the soccer team, she said that we're now America's team. And I sat there, and a part of me wanted to go, take it easy, you know, because obviously the Cowboys, the Yankees, the Lakers, the this, the that, whatever, the Steelers, a lot of people, a lot of you know, team armies or whatever have that claim. But I started thinking, man, that's their fourth. And this thing started in 1991 for the females. That's their fourth. So that's some domination, along with a couple gold medals. But do you think that maybe she's got a point, or do you think, like, maybe if they just win another one and kind of like three-peat that and especially the way America got behind them, that she might have something here? She might be 100% correct?
You know, I think in a lot of ways she is. I actually wrote a column for this for KSL, the local news website in Salt Lake City where I live, that, you know, even if you don't think that this U.S. women's national team is America's team, you're probably wrong, because it's the perfect representation. What we like in sports is we like to have our teams kind of represent a little snapshot, a little cross-section of our community. And aside from the fact that they're all women and there's no men involved with this team, nobody does it better than the U.S. women's national team, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got black, white, gay, straight, like tall, short, from affluent backgrounds, from poor, struggling backgrounds. You got everything on that team. You got conservative people. You have people like Megan who are way out on the other side politically. Some are outspoken. Some are a little bit quiet. You have all of it, and that is exactly what America is. But what they do is they find a way to pull together, despite all their differences, and to be excellent, to be dominant, to work together, and be the best team in the world. To your point, to be multiple-time champions, not because they're all the same or it's all easy for them to get along with each other and work together. That's not why they're successful. It's because they put aside the differences, they put aside the egos, and they all pull on the same rope, and they get the job done when they need to. And it's something that America should acknowledge about that team, should appreciate about that team. And, yeah, I mean, for me, even though I'm not the biggest soccer guy, and I know there's a battle where traditionally we don't put as much passion into women's sports, look, no team in soccer from the U.S. is ever going to be as nationally relevant, as internationally relevant as this team. It's just not going to happen. If you want to be relevant on the world stage, if you want to get respect on a world stage, we should be following this team. We should be supporting this team, especially paying attention to the problems that they have with the system, to the fact that they don't get equal pay, to the fact that maybe politically there's some struggles there. We should support all of them. You don't have to agree with them, but you should support it. You should listen to it. You should have a discussion about it and embrace it, because it's exactly what America is.
Exactly. Well put. All right, my man. Thank you so much for the time, as always. And can't wait for the call of tomorrow night's PFL, Week 4 there out in Atlantic City. Break a leg, brother.
All right, thank you. ESPN Plus to start, ESPN 2 to finish. So we'll see you guys there.
All right, you got it. We'll see you. That's the real OC, Sean O'Connell, the play-by-play guy, and, of course, their Season 1 light heavyweight champion. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back to wrap up.
On anything. Everybody knows it's duck season.
Rabbit season.
Duck season.
Rabbit season.
Whether it's food, less filling,
Tastes great.
less filling,
Tastes great.
gambling, always bet on black.
I like red.
Black.
Red.
Black.
Red.
Black, dummy. Or even social media. Instagram.
Snapchat.
Instagram.
Snapchat.
The same applies to the biggest stories in MMA. Time for MMA Junkie Radio's Daily Debate.
All right, here we go. Today's Daily Debate brought to you by Goes and I. We're the MMA Junkie Radio team for today. As it currently stands goes, Bellator MMA, they're women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the featherweight division, this is rankings talk here, they have 7 of the top 15 fighters.
Yeah.
All right. In our USA Today Sports and MMA Junkie rankings, while the UFC only has 4. But the question is, right now, which promotion's belt is more meaningful? Again, Bellator has 7, UFC's only got 4 of the top 15. Guess the others we have to salute Invicta or whoever else might occupy those spots. Your choices are UFC's belt is more meaningful, Bellator MMA's belt is more meaningful, both are of equal value, or it's still too early to tell, which is kind of like the little pussy way out in my opinion.
Right. And it's also your way of telling me, don't take that one because I'm going to murder you.
Correct.
I'm going to go with Bellator.
Because you could honestly just go, it's still too early to tell. Now, how about you? And
What was the point of that,
right?
right? So I'm going to say it's Bellator because the stable together is stronger. And I'll give you this example. Even if you feel like the champion in the UFC is a bigger name.
You mean the GOAT, Amanda Nunes?
Right. But if you were to take
the previous GOAT,
if you were to take
Cyborg?
LeBron James and put him in the Spanish basketball league, does that make them the best basketball league now? No, right? Because the majority of the better players are in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
That's my reasoning.
But that's not a bad 1-2 punch. Then you got the former Invicta champion Megan Anderson, along with ladies who can't be ranked, but they've dabbled. Mm-hmm. Holly Holm went up and dabbled. Jermaine Durandamy went up and dabbled.
But what happens?
So they're not solidified as 45ers, but they have occupied space there.
There's not much of a story, though. Not a story's not really being told. It's just one person at the top, and then we don't know who else.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like the Bellator MMA belt?
It's a stable.
Okay. You sure?
Yes.
Amanda's the GOAT. Cyborg, the most destructive 45er ever. I think even Julia Budd would say that.
Did I stutter?
All right. He's going with Bellator. I think it's still the UFC until Julia continues to be great or whoever holds that belt continues to be great. Then maybe. I hear you, man. There is power in numbers, but oh, man, just what these ladies have been able to do, especially Amanda as of late, has been pretty special. I guess we could go of equal value because I don't think I see there's great arguments
better
in both.
when there's somebody's going
we
to
take
right
a stand.
wrong.
All right, 59% said UFC, 20% said Bellator MMA, 8% said both of equal value, 13% said I'm too scared to vote and pick a side.
Mm-hmm.
All right, over 1,500 votes came in. Thank you, Junkie Nation, the readers of the site and the listeners of the show for your participation. Don't have enough time to read some comments for today. We'll do that on tomorrow's Daily Debate. But I want to thank Chris Curtis, Jhenny Andrade, and Sean O'Connell for their time. Tomorrow we'll be back at 8 Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific with another edition of MMA Junkie Radio. I don't have any guests to tell you as of yet, but I'm sure we'll work on it. We'll have a powerful show for you all in 22 hours. All right, folks. Shout out to Josh and Andre back east for holding it down. And, of course, Goes, he did awesome. Shout out to you, Goes. I took it to another level, however. I was fantastic. We're out of here, folks. Go out there and be a champion.